Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Bruce. Solutionswithdrbruce.com is my website, so you can feel free to turn there whenever you delight to do so. I'm here today talking about breaking bad habits now. Breaking bad habits now. And there is a lot of different habits that people can pick up from time to time that can basically mess up their lives. And I want to be able to talk about some ways where you can break bad habits, because they can really mess up your life. They can really cause you a lot of discomfort, embarrassment, and shame. I want to give you a definition of a bad habit. A bad habit can be any behavior, attitude, or feeling that produces guilt, and especially when attempting to satisfy a need that a person has. And so you can have a lot of different needs, and those needs can cause you to develop some bad habits. And usually some of the needs are to feel comfortable, to feel at peace, to resolve inner conflicts. Maybe you're under pressure, you're feeling stressed, and so you engage in some type of behavior or thought life that perhaps maybe is an attempt to feel better. I want to get this monkey off my back. And sometimes that can develop into bad habits, whether it be drinking, lying, stealing. It could just be holding a grudge against somebody. But that can develop into a habitual or continuous behavior that will cause you to feel guilty, or cause you to be incomplete, or to cause you to lose family or friends. Those are bad habits. And I want you to consider that today. And I know some of you are still chiming in, and others are being called upon to tune in to this particular Facebook Live. But I want to be able to help you today just to get a handle on some of those bad habits that don't have to be a stumbling block in your life. This is Dr. Bruce. I've had some bad habits myself, but thanks be to God, and doing some of the right things, I've been able to avoid those bad habits from taking control and be able to defeat them. And that's what you want to be able to do, is to defeat the bad habits that can try to enslave you and mess up your life. So I want to be able to address some of those questions you might have and things that may come to your mind that will allow you to get some victory, whether it's overeating, whether it's picking your face, whether it's being mad for a long period of time without forgiving, anything that creates a bad experience and causes you to feel guilty and can create some distress in your life. And so this is Dr. Bruce, waiting for others to come on the call, and we'll be able to share some things with you. And maybe some of you have some questions that you'd like to ask. I'm going to probably take 2 or maybe even 3 weeks in dealing with this particular issue until there is some victory that you're able to attain. Now, one of the questions that I want to ask you as I kind of look into this is that what's your motivation? What's your motivation for breaking the bad habit? That is, what's your desire? Do you want this bad habit out of your life? Do you want it out of your life? Or is it something that's not bad enough, so it's probably going to stay with you? What is your motivation? That is, how bad do you want this thing out of your life? You've got to... I'm resuming the call. Someone just tried to call in, but I'm going to ignore that because I want to get into this particular issue. What's your motivation? What is your motivation for breaking this bad habit? You have to want it out of your life. You got to have it. You got to have it gone. That's your desire. What's your motivation? If your motivation is strong enough, then your desire is going to cause you to make some of the right decisions and choices that's going to allow that thing or cause that thing to be removed from your life. And also, how has it affected you? Has it caused you a discomfort? Has it caused you to lose friends or family? Has it caused you to be looked at maybe in a negative light? So if it hasn't affected you bad enough, then maybe your motivation is not going to be as strong as it should be. But if it's affected you to the point that it's caused you maybe to lose sleep, to lose a job, to lose relationships, that's caused you to feel embarrassed, if it hasn't affected you enough, then maybe your motivation is not strong enough, but maybe it is. And so that's why you have to answer that question. Also, I want to ask, do you love it? The thing that you want to get rid of, do you love that thing? Maybe it's pornography, or maybe it's fornication, or maybe it's alcohol, or maybe it's marijuana, whatever it may be. All right. And so you're going to have to answer that question. How bad do you love this thing? If you love it, then maybe you may hold on to it a little bit longer than you should. And so if you love, for example, I know what right now I'm dealing with getting rid of sugar in my life. That's been my bad habit. I love sweets. I love, donuts and cake and sweet potato pie and peach cobbler. And I love all those things. But I realize that for my longevity, I'm going to have to get rid of some of the sweets in my life, because too much sugar in your system is an invitation for other physiological problems. And one thing we need to understand is that many times diseases feed on sugar that's in your system. And so for myself, I want to get rid of the sugar in my life, and I'm going to do it too. And so I've made up in my mind, that's a habit that I have, and that habit needs to be broken, because it can affect me in a negative way, and my motivation is strong enough, and I really want to get that thing because I love it. So now, because I love it, I've got to change my attitude about it. Because anything that you love, and you love it strong enough, then you're probably going to hold on to it a little bit longer, because it's going to be something that's going to be on your mind. You're going to have a taste for that thing. And because you love a thing, you're not going to get rid of it as likely as you should. So guess what? I've got to change my affection, because I love living and I love myself more than I love the sugar and the sweets. Now, I still like it, but I don't love it. I love living. I love life. I love vitality. I love being around people. I love my wife. I love fellowship. And I don't love it that much that I will allow it to intrude on my good health. So guess what? I don't love it that much. I just like it a little bit, okay? And so I'm changing my attitude about it. And I want you to realize that there are some things that need to change. There's some things that need to change. And so I'm making up in my mind, I'm going to renounce it. That's right. I'm going to renounce the sweets in my life. I'm going to renounce it. It's not going to have any control over me anymore. I'm not going to make it a part of my regular diet. So you're going to have to change the position that the thing has in your life. That's right. I'm going to have to change my position with that thing. It's not going to be something I have to have. All right. Got that? Whatever that habit is in your life, it's got to be something that you no longer have to have. Are you getting me? It's something that I'm no longer have to having. So guess what? It's no longer a priority. If I want it, fine. If I don't want it, fine. But guess what? I've chosen not to want it anymore. And so I'm going to do some other things that's going to replace it. So I'm changing this place in my life. It's no longer a priority. So I'm going to have to replace it. Right. I'm going to have to replace it with some other things. And most of the time, it's going to be something sugar-free. Still like dessert, but it's going to be sugar-free. Now, whatever your habit is, I want you to make sure that you begin to evaluate that situation in your life and no longer allow it to have priority. And so some people, they have to have a drink with their meals. They want to, have a drink. They got to have a drink with their meals. Well, maybe it's not wine anymore. Maybe it's not, alcohol anymore. So you're going to have to replace it with something else that's just as satisfying, but yet will allow you then to maintain your position and remove that thing from its life. All right. And so And so I want you to kind of get that in your mind. You want to do those things that are going to allow you to have some freedom in your mind and also be able to not feel guilty. So you want to remove that thing because it's perhaps making you feel guilty. It's no doubt something that you don't feel comfortable with. It's something that's causing you, to feel basically guilty and like something is wrong. And so if that thing is making you feel wrong, you need to remove it from your life. So you're going to have to break its control. Break its control. That may mean you may have to fast some days. Maybe you're going to have to put yourself, in my case, it's a sugar fast, meaning I'm not going to allow it for a particular period of time. And most people, they really realize that it's going to probably take at least 21 trials or 21 days to change a habit. And so it may take you a while. You're going to have to fast from that thing. You're going to have to break its control. And usually you're going to have to get that thing out of your system. Praise God. And so guess what? I don't have the cravings as much as I had before. And so it's not a thing where I just have to have it. I don't have to have it. So I'm breaking its control. It's no longer going to manipulate me. And so also, I'm unloving it. I'm unloving it. That's right. I used to love these things, but I'm unloving it. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but I'm unloving that thing. Don't love it no more. I might like it, but I don't love it as much. So you got to unlove that thing and replace it, as I said before. But also, I have to rethink it. I got to rethink it. Why have I allowed this thing to have such a priority in my life? It's probably because there's some other things eating me up. There's some other things that I'm thinking about that I really are replacing. Now, I've been thinking about this a while. Sometimes there is an unmet need. There's an unmet need. And sometimes we'll choose a vice or some other behavior as a way of medicating ourselves. Medicating ourselves. I need this thing to feel good about myself. Some people that have that, they overshop or they're shopaholics. They'll shop because they're trying to use this as a comfort. Maybe there's an unmet need. So I'm going to shop and buy things that I don't really need because there's another absence in my life. So I got to somehow replace that absence with food or with shopping or with alcohol or with sex. See, some people, they got it all twisted. No, you're going to have to start attending to what your soul really needs and what's really missing in your life. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but I want you to understand, you got to understand what is the purpose of this habit? What's the real purpose? What's the real purpose of this habit that's trying to dominate my life? Yes. Is it some kind of medication or comfort for you? But it doesn't really meet the need, does it? No, it still keeps you void of the very thing that your soul or that your heart is longing for. So I want you to rethink that thing. And if it's making you feel bad, you don't need it. So what do you really want to feel? How do you really want to feel? How do you really want to behave? You want to act properly or in a way that allows you to have some happiness and some joy. If this thing is not bringing you joy or happiness in your life, then you need to get rid of it because it's bad for you. And so now I'm going to stop right there and allow you to think about that thing. All right. I want you to think a little bit more. What's your motivation? How has it affected you? Do you love it? So you're going to have to unlove it. You got to break its control. You're going to have to renounce this thing and command it to no longer have control over your life. Now, I'm not finished, but I'm just stopping for today. I'm going to revisit this again next Tuesday. You got to replace it. You got to replace it and you got to rethink it. These are some of the things that I'm giving you for right now so that you'll be able to kind of consider that. So when we really get into the process of breaking this habit, once and for all, you will have answered these questions that I'm asking you today. What is the purpose of this habit? yeah, what is this purpose? What is its purpose? What is it really doing for you? Does it really satisfy you? Or is it some kind of, replacement for what you really want? Is it medication? Or is it comfort? Is it a comfort for you? But does it really satisfy you? Probably not. So I want you to think about that before we go back to this and get into the real nuts and bolts on how to break its hold and how to make it a permanent breaking. Is that all right? So thank you so much for your time. Now, if you have some questions, I want you to put them in the comments section. Or you can even go to my website, solutionswithdrbruce.com, and you can, inquire. You can purchase some of my materials. Or if you really want to ask me some real questions, you can text me if you have my number. I can give that to you too. It's 562-335-6503. You can go and text me if you have any questions, and I'll be addressing those questions when it comes to permanently breaking some of those habits. I want them broken in your life. I don't want you to be bound by anything other than the blessings of Almighty God in your life. And so this is Dr. Bruce, and I'm signing off for today. But I want you to consider these questions and with regards to breaking these bad habits, because we want them broken. We want them completely broken in your life. Thank you so much. And I'll get back with you next Tuesday. Thank you. Bye-bye.